Favorite childhood TV show from any channel?
My favorite childhood TV show was definitely Ed, Edd n Eddy. Absolutely Ed, Edd n Eddy, bro. Just because like every episode, I love cartoons where every episode is something different, like it's a new adventure, but it's like they hold the same dynamic throughout the whole, like every season, but every episode is something completely different. Like it's just I love that they were able to do that. It's like you know who the characters are, but you don't know what they're gonna do type stuff. I really appreciate that. So it was always fun to watch.
And what was wild was how I never realized that they didn't have any adults ever.
Yeah. Like the parents were never at home. You never seen if anybody was at work, and that's crazy. I ain't never think about that. Like even in shows like Kid Next Door, where like the purpose was that adults were the enemy, you still seen adults in the show. But like yeah, and then you never seen like who was paying the bills in the crib.
Bruh.
These kids, the kids is outside running around playing.
Who was keeping the lights on? Hey yo, who's paying the rent slash mortgage on these on these homes? And there was like one episode where Ed he was on punishment and they took the whole staircase.
They took the staircase out.
What type of cruel and unusual? Where is CPS?
My boy can't
What?
even come up from the basement. You got
Oh my gosh, I'm
hey,
sick. Okay. Did you watch SpongeBob growing up?
yes, I remember exactly where I was when the first episode of SpongeBob dropped. Actually,
The one with the seashell?
yes, bro. Like in the
The
bubbles,
reef
like
blower?
blowing. Because I remember like watching the countdown to the show, and I don't know why I was so excited about the show to drop, but I was at my aunt's house, and that first episode came on, and I was hooked from like episode one. That's a good show too. Like
Oh
the humor
yeah.
in that show is so almost like I want to say mature that the jokes. The reason we use so many SpongeBob memes now, like it's 20 and 30-year olds, is because the jokes are so mature and we didn't really get it as kids. We just like the show. Now we like the jokes.
The word debauchery from the panty raid episode, which is now banned.
No, the fact that they had a panty raid episode. I guess you're gonna miss the panty raid. Like, what do you mean? The panty race is a kid show.
But my question from that was, did you have a favorite SpongeBob episode?
The one where like Squidward gets stuck in a time machine. Like that was
You jerk.
yeah, that was a good episode to me. Like the fact, like the way he was spazzing out. But I just really liked that episode because when he went, like he was in the future and everything was chrome, and then like a plant pops out of the ground and the dude's like stop to get out and spray paint it real quick. I was like, that's funny, man. Like that's your job to paint everything from.
That show definitely gave me an existential crisis. And I was like, wait, is this what happens when you die? Or I
Right. Yeah. What tripped me out was like when the writers just like either didn't care or forgot that it was supposed to be set underwater. So they did stuff like had a campfire underwater. I'm like, and he's like, okay, I like this, so I can't really care. I ain't gonna, like make a big deal about it. But they underwater though. Like, but they can have fire underwater, but they can't breathe when they come out. Like, that's crazy. Like,
so clearly you have great taste in media. Now I'm thinking about the first time that you came across my TikTok For You page, and it was 2022. It was the car video, like how
wow.
your car treats you as soon as you get paid.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
one where the car was coughing.
Yeah.
Bruh. From that moment, I said, "Oh, I have to follow him."
Yeah.
There's it would be irresponsible for me not to know who this
Irresponsible.
person is.
Yeah.
My question to you is, where did you get your start from with content creation? Because the way your creativity just is overflowing from what I've seen, I'm just amazed by it. So
Man,
where does the journey begin?
I appreciate that. So you're asking me like when I started content creation or
Yep. Hmm.
so I started in 2016. That was like my very first, well, my very, very first video was in 2014 when I was still in college. And That was a video that I made with two of my friends because I had wanted to like have a skit group. I don't know if you know who Balloon Shop is
No.
or like um WKYK Dormtainment, like
Entertainment, yeah.
yeah. So like those were all YouTube skit groups.
Mhm.
And I just remember watching all of them like through high school, and I was like, "Oh man, I want to do this." And it was like the popular thing was to have a group with it. So I was like, "I need to have a group if I'm gonna do this." So like I was like steady trying to find a group to do it, but nobody wanted to do it, and or like everybody was like, "Yeah, yeah," but we never did it. So like in 2014, I just finally brought it up to my friends. I was like, "Hey, let's make a skit." And like the very first skit idea that I had was like it was about when your friend come over and get like comfortable too quick. And like the premise of the skit was like the friend come in and like shakes your hand, and the joke was like the friend shakes your hand and then automatically like teleports to the couch or something, and like they all like they in some like comfortable clothes, and it's like "Nigga, how you get so comfortable?" Like it's like it was like that was my very first skit idea. And then I never made another one. Like I posted it on Instagram and everything, and everybody thought it was funny that saw it, but I never made another one after that until 2016. Like after I graduated and I came to Houston, where I'm at now,
Mhm.
and like I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we were living together. And I remember like this was when Vine was like super popping,
My
and it was like
goodness.
it was right at the peak before it fell off. And like I was watching like so many dudes on there do it, and I was like, okay, I can do this. And like I just couldn't figure out the timing. Like I hadn't had the experience of doing skits to the point where I could figure out the timing of making a joke in 6 seconds. So like, oh, I was struggling with that. And then by the time I kind of like tried to get the hang of it, Vine fell off. So I'm like, all right, I still want to make a video and like post it to Instagram and stuff like that. So I did. It was like the reason why I started doing that though, because this wasn't like as soon as I moved out there. It was because I moved to get my master's degree, and like I had a job at the time where I was like a substitute teacher. So I was just going to work and going to school. And then like by the time like I was halfway through the year, my first year doing that, it's like I felt myself aging, dog. Like I remember coming up the stairs at my apartment, and I was like, bro, I feel old. Like I ain't doing nothing except going to work and going to school. I hate this. And then like that was my point. I was like, all right, I need a creative outlet. I need something else to do other than this, so I can think about something else other than work and school. And I thought about, I was like, oh, let me get to these videos that I want to do. So that's what made me want to do it. Like that's what made me say I have to start doing something. You know what I mean? So I went back to doing it because of that. Just needing a creative outlet.
He was walking up the steps, lower back, said, wait a minute.
Yes,
Ah.
bro. Like my knees was hurting. I was like, nah, bro, this can't. I was 25 at the time. I was like, dog, I feel myself aging. I hate it. And I feel like if you don't have a creative outlet, I feel like that makes you old fast in spirit because you letting your imagination die. You know what I'm
That
saying?
is abundantly true because
Yeah.
you get so bogged down with just the day to day, or I have to do this to survive types of
Yeah.
things, and you have less time and even energy to do the things that you want to do, or like the
Mhm.
dream or the imaginative stuff. So that's so intriguing. I was waiting for you to mention Vine because actually, funny enough, I actually scrolled all the way down to your very first video on TikTok, and then I was like, he definitely got a lot of inspiration from old YouTube and Vine, even though your videos were longer. But I was
Mhm.
like, okay. I was wondering if you had started with making stuff on Vine.
Mhm.
Um, but my goodness. And so you graduated college in 20
16.
2016. Okay. I
Yeah.
graduated in 2018. Oh, okay.
Well, I graduated my master's degree in 2018.
Ah, I started grad school in 2018.
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay, okay. So thinking through just what it takes to create a video nowadays, walk me through your creative process because a lot of your stuff is very involved. You have characters, you have a lot of editing that goes into it. You have like effects and green screens and some more. It's like, yo, this man is an artist. So what's your creative process nowadays?
My creative process is to get inspiration to make a skit, like get an idea. Like I've learned to not force it and just like get ideas from everyday life because there's so many experiences. I feel like that you can make a video about anything. Like you can make a video about when you like trying to get in the house and you got the wrong key. You know what I mean? Like it's just so many experiences you can pull from. So it's like I'll be doing something, or like someone will annoy me, or I'll be like, I remember I was in a drive-through one day, and I was like, I can make a skit about this, just being in the drive. Like it was just like just, I get inspiration from life. You know what I'm saying? How they say like art imitates life. That's facts because like you get inspiration from life. So my process is to like get inspiration, and then I'll immediately put it in my notes on my phone. Like I got so many notes on my phone, like I can scroll for a long time. I got so many notes from a long time, and some ideas I get the images in my head immediately. So like the scenes of my skits are exactly how I imagine it going in my head. And like that's how I make the video. So if I get an idea and I can't see how it's gonna play out, then I just let it sit there. And then like, you know what I mean? Like and one day like I'll come back. Like that skit I made about the invisibility potion, like that had been sitting there for months. Cause I was like, okay, this will be funny, but I don't know how to do it. And then I woke up one day like, oh, like it's just, and I can see it. And so I'll see it in my head and I'll make the video exactly like that. And I'll be like, okay, what's the punchline? So the punchline is like, or like how the video ends is like I'll go backwards. So like how's it ending? Okay, how did I get to this point? All right, how did I get to this point? And then it's like, I'll see it happening in my head that way. And then once I got how it goes, then I'll get started. I don't necessarily write down scripts because I found like if I just start and go, then it kind of writes itself as I do it. As I improv it, like it'll come out naturally. I'll be like, oh, I didn't even think about saying that, but I'm keeping it. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel so. I think a lot of people appreciate the authenticity of the skits, and that's where the authenticity come from because this is like I just thought of doing it just now. You know what I'm saying? So you're feeling my authentic idea as it comes to fruition. You know what I mean?
Bro, on
So
everything I love, I feel everything you just said on a molecular level.
yes, sir.
I have so instead of using the notes section, I use the reminders section on my phone. But I have ideas that go all the way back to 2016.
Hmm.
That's just chilling and waiting. Just oh my goodness,
Yeah, man. That's how a lot of rappers put albums out too. Some of them songs be like 2, 3 years old. You know what I mean? So I feel like ain't nothing wrong with having an idea and not doing nothing with it because it's just not time for it to, pop yet.
and that's a really important point that you mentioned about not forcing it, because especially with comedic content, there's an element of comedic timing. There's an element of flow
Mm.
where the joke you want it to land in the sweet spot. But if you force it, then it feels cringy or
Facts. Yes.
it
Yeah.
feels like, ah, okay, I see what you tried to do there, but don't
Yeah.
do it again. So that, yeah, that lands. That definitely lands.
Yeah. It
Hmm.
got to be authentic, man. You can definitely tell when somebody's trying to be funny. When you try to be funny, like when you're trying to, I don't know, make something funny, that's when it's not funny. Like stuff is just funny because it is. Like I'm never trying to be funny in a video. I'm just doing it because it's a funny scenario and it's just gonna be funny because it's just funny. Like you know what I'm saying? You gotta let
It
it be what
just
it is.
is.
Yeah,
For sure, for
yeah.
sure. Now walk me through how it felt going viral for the first time. And I don't know if
Oh,
this happened on TikTok or on another platform or whatever, but what was it like when that first video of yours got more than 10K, 100K, a million views? What was that
oh
like?
man, that was. I think that was in either 2020 or 2021. So at this point, I've been making videos for like 4 years and hadn't gone viral once. So at this point, it's like a hobby. It's just like, all right, I don't want to stop doing this. So I'm just gonna keep doing it. And I remember I made that Soldier Boy skit, and like that was a video. Like I got off work, and I was like, I was trying to work on being consistent, and I was like, let me just do this and get out the way, man. So I made it, and it took like I don't know, it took like 20 minutes to shoot and then like took like 15 minutes to edit. And I was like, all right, this ain't gonna be nothing. I'm just post it and go. So I posted it. I don't know if it was the next day. No. I posted it and it was like 2 hours later. And like I was in my ex-girl crib. Somebody text me, somebody hit me on Twitter. Like I went to Twitter because I posted on Twitter, I posted on Instagram, I posted on TikTok. I went to Twitter and somebody was in my mentions like, "You made it, friend." I was like, "What?" So I go and check the video on Twitter. It's going crazy. Like it's getting hella retweets, hella comments. Like it's like I'm watching the numbers change. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm watching it change, like mileage, like you know what I'm saying, going up in the car. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is going kind of crazy. That's good. And then like throughout the day, it just kept going crazier and crazier and crazier. And then me and my ex-girl was laying in the bed, and then she was like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "What?" She showed me her phone, and I was on Shade Room. And I was like, "Oh," like it felt so surreal because it was like I had never experienced like being posted on so many pages like that without having to ask. Like I had asked pages for promotion before and then like got attention like that. So that was just like you know what I'm saying, I asked for this. But this was like everybody was posting it, everybody was sharing it, like Lil Yachty retweeted it, Soulja Boy retweeted it, like everybody was retweeting the video and like posting it. And I just remember like thinking like I didn't put anything into this video, man. Like it was like I don't know, like did you see it? Like it was like how to summon Soldier Boy, and it's like it was like I made it in the fashion of like Bloody Mary, how you in the mirror, like you say Bloody Mary 3 times, and she pop up. So like this was when Soldier Boy first started that. I was the first rapper to do everything, and I was like, you know, I started to say like, oh, I was the first person. Then Soldier Boy pops up, and he's like, nigga, like you know what I'm saying? So like that's what I guess the popularity of Soldier Boy at the time, and then just the joke itself just made it go crazy. So it was Twitter that made it happen though. Like if you make a video that can go viral on Twitter, you legit and it's you good. That's how Juicy got popping, like on Twitter first. Like and like so many people that's like popping out are popping on Twitter. Like Twitter is the place to get popping. If you can get popping on Twitter, I have a thing in my head. I say like a Twitter like is worth like 20 TikTok likes and it's worth like 5 Instagram likes because it's like it's heavier in weight. It's like the US dollar versus the peso. I'm dead serious, bro. Like it's something about Twitter. It's like their likes, you know what I'm saying? Like they want you to earn it. Like, yo, no, I don't like this, bro. You ain't gonna scroll right past it. Like if you can get popping on Twitter, bro, you made it. And that one video I made got popping on Twitter and I made it. And that was just like it was good, but I feel like I messed up because I let it sit. Like I was like, I didn't want to mess up the popularity of the video the way it was performing. So I was like, I'm gonna let it sit for a while. So I didn't make a video. Yeah, I didn't make a video for like a week. I was like, all right, I'm gonna let that ride. But I shouldn't have did that because I feel like in that week, a lot of people were checking my page out. But I feel like I caught it just enough time. Like I made a new video in just enough time to like catch the residual attention. You know what I mean? So I was still good, but could have been better if I didn't let it ride for that week. I shouldn't have did that, but I'm good. No regrets.
Yep. And so a couple of very important points. One, different platforms operate very differently.
Facts.
And when you understand your niche and how it plays on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, when you understand like what works and what doesn't, because every single platform has a different rule of engagement. And when you understand that, bruh, it's a wrap. Feel your
Facts.
rap. And
That is facts.
the importance of having bingeable content. You didn't say this outwardly, but when one of your videos goes crazy, what do people do? They go to your account and see what else do you have. Do you
Yeah.
have something that's similar to the thing that went viral? If
Right.
so, they'll pull up, and they
Yeah.
may pull up to stay.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You got something I want to see over and over again, so let me go and follow. It's like that versus like I'll see like a lot of people will go viral with a funny video. Like it was a dude that made a video about it was a Temptations video like on what's that song? Papa was a Rolling Stone. What day of September was it?
Oh,
The third?
September 3rd. It
Yeah, it
was
was the
the
3rd of
3rd of
September.
September.
Like he made a video that went crazy on TikTok, got 1 million views. I was like, oh, he funny. I went to his page and he had like 5 videos. I was like, all right, so you know what I'm saying? Like that's what happens. If you don't got content, then you losing followers. So you gotta get it up if it's going. So luckily I had already stacked up enough content to where like I went viral and like people could go see the page. So I was getting follows off of it. So it was like, you know, it was still a win.
And that's the thing. That is, everybody thinks it's so cool to go viral, but then it's like, well, what do I do with all this attention?
Yeah,
And some people understand what to do with it. Some people crumble because of it.
yeah,
And
man.
that's no knock on anybody, but it's just like, quite honestly, humans, we're not supposed to have all this attention that social
Yeah.
media affords, all this access to people's thoughts and opinions at all times.
Hmm.
Overwhelming. But with that newfound attention on your end, how does it change the way you approach content creation now that like people know you exist?
No, because I feel like if I change based on how much attention I have, then I won't have my own thing. You know what I mean? I won't have my own thing going on. So I think it's very important to just know what I want to do with it and do that, and just don't worry about nobody else. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta be in my lane. I gotta have tunnel vision as far as like my creative goals and like how I want my stuff to look. Because I feel like, if you develop your own vision of it, that's what people want to see. They don't want to see you do what they want. Like, there's people asking, like, do this, do that. You'll look better if you did this. I'd be like, all right, nah, like, it's gonna look better if I do my thing. You know what I mean? And you just watch. That's what I need you to do. Like, I don't be taking suggestions. Like, people be like, make a part two. No, I don't do sequels. Like, I don't do that unless I feel like, what I'm saying, something I want to do. Because, you here to watch the show. Sit back and watch the show. Like, I don't feel like I don't change based on none of that. That ain't my business, bro. Like, I just keep going. And I feel like as you keep going and you get better, that's what's gonna keep getting you the attention. It's gonna develop your confidence in it too. Like, all right, I see this is working, so I don't gotta worry about it. And that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm seeing my lane develop and I'm feeling the confidence in my lane.
Mhm.
So that's what the attention is doing for me, is help me develop that confidence in myself and my creativity.
Who's on that? Have you dealt with burnout recently or in the past?
I deal with burnout like every 2 weeks, bro. Like, that's a real thing. But the thing is, though, we think everything is a bad thing, right? So like, some people will get burned out and be like, "Oh my god, I need an idea. I need an idea." My thing is, I used to be like that, but then I was like, what's gonna happen? Like, unless all social media disappears or something like that, I don't got nothing to worry about. If I lose a few followers in a week, they ain't need to be here anyway. You know what I mean? So if I get burnout, then that just means, all right, I don't need to be doing this right now. Let me go find something else to do with my time. Let me go kick it with my friends. Let me go, I don't know, chill at a bar or something like that. Let me go out to the park. Let me, what I'm saying, do something I need to do. Cause that means my cup of creativity is empty, so that means I have another full cup somewhere. Let me go use this cup real quick until this creativity gets back full. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe doing this will fill my creativity back up. You know what I mean? You can't like focus too hard on one thing all the time, because if you go to the gym every day for like 2 weeks, you're not gonna be able to work out because you're gonna be pulling muscles, your muscles ain't having energy, you're gonna be sore. You gotta rest. The same goes for
Mhm.
your creativity in your brain. You use it so much, you gotta rest, let it rest, and then come back stronger. So I deal with burnout a lot, but I just think it's time for me to focus on something else when I'm burnt out. I don't got an idea or something like that, and it always comes back. Like, it's been, so that's why I know it's gonna happen, because like, I'll have a period where I won't have an idea, or I'll have an idea and I know how to develop it, and then I just leave it alone, let it rest, and then bam, I got a good idea, and then here I go again. So it's all good. It's a cycle. Everything's a cycle.
All ebbs and flows, and that just still plays into not forcing it. Because when you
Yeah,
force it, it's like, what's the point of forcing it?
yeah.
Like, there's no benefit from this. But I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Now, thinking beyond social media and thinking beyond what you post about regularly, like what's other things like off camera that light you up? Like what else does Phoenix do?
I like to read self help books. That's one thing, because I really like to I like to know how I tick. I like to know different perspectives on how people tick, to like think differently about what the mind is, what the body is, what the soul is, how that's supposed to work. You know what I'm saying? I like to be out. So I have a hammock on my balcony. I like to sit in the hammock. I like to do stuff like that. I like to do chill stuff, man. Like, my favorite bar out here is called Axelrad. It's like an outside place with a bunch of hammocks there. I go over there and chill. Just, what I'm saying? Like, I just like to chill and like be with my friends, and like I'll be on the PlayStation sometimes, got the PS5 in there, like regular stuff. You know what I mean? And mostly just being I'm really a homebody, man. I like to be in the crib. But like outside of content creation, it's just like regular stuff that I like. I like to paint sometimes. I like to do acrylic pours, like acrylic paintings. I saw that one time on YouTube, and I was like, man, I want to try that. So I enjoy doing that, and I sell them sometimes. Like they'll sell. I had a whole stand, like a stand at a what's it called event this lady did because I was in a dollar store like I was getting supplies for my birthday party one year, and like I was in a Dollar Tree because I like to throw themed parties,
Mhm.
and the lady was like, she saw me in the aisle. She was like, "What you doing?" I was like, "I'm getting stuff for my birthday party." She was like, "Oh, okay. What else do you do? I feel like you're creative." I was like, "Oh, okay. I paint." So yeah, she was like, "I'm having an event. Bring your paintings," and I brought them. And like that was my first time selling paintings. Like somebody bought one for $100, like it was a big one, and then somebody else bought one. Like I was like, okay, I can sell these. So I started doing that. You know what I mean? So I like to do different creative things as well. Like I be selling my own clothes. Like I just made some pins. I don't have one on this jacket, but I made I have this like running joke that my fan club is called the Fee Hive. So like I made some pins in the fashion of like a honeycomb and put Fee Hive in it, and
Mm.
people bought those. So I like to make stuff other than videos as well.
Yeah, I remember you had a pair of you had shorts as
Yeah,
merch as
yeah.
well, and it had the
Yeah, put the
phoenix on
Phoenix
there.
on there. Yeah,
Yeah, that's dope.
yeah.
That's dope. And it's
Sure.
funny, like I would have never known about the painting unless I scrolled back to 2021 on your
Uh-huh.
TikTok.
Yeah.
That is really dope. And then I saw, I think it might have been like the second or third video I saw across you popping up for you page again. And I saw Alpha Phi Alpha. I was like, oh, okay, he's Greek. My fiance, she's Greek. She's a
Yeah.
Delta.
The
And I
blanket
have a
right.
whole bunch of well, there you go. And I
Yeah.
have a whole bunch of friends from different parts of D9 and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Good stuff. Most of my frat brothers out here in Houston with me. We'll never see each other
Okay.
because Houston too big, bro.
I've been told that just as a concept, Texas doesn't have the greatest like transportation system just in general. Like you need a car and everything is an hour away at all
There's no
times.
walking distance, anything out here. You walking, you just gonna be walking. You ain't getting nowhere.
Hey yo. Thinking through like what would be something that people who follow you on social media would be surprised to know about you? Like outside of painting, like what's another thing that's just be like, oh snap, I would have never guessed that he did that. I would have never figured. I think, oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
That I'm a teacher, because a lot of people don't know that I'm a teacher. Like I say it all the time on my stories, or like I'll just like be showing the classroom or something like that, or I'll be talking in the classroom, and then
Mm.
somebody will be like, "Are you a teacher?" I'll be like, "Yes." Like I don't like talk about that on my page. That's not what I want my stuff to be about. But I don't hide it. You
Mm.
know what I mean? But when somebody finds out, they're like, "Oh my God, you're so cool about the kids love you." Like I'm like, yeah, I guess I don't know. But yeah, man, I'm a teacher. Like I teach eighth grade science. I really like science a lot too. So I think that's the most surprising thing that people would know or like want to know or find out and think is surprising. Yeah.
That is dope.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't
one of my
have.
students actually came up to me the other day. He was like, "Can you tell me how you make your content?" And I was like, "Oh, you seen my content?" You know, like I wasn't surprised either. That's another reason you said, "Is there anything that I would change like based on audience?" Like the only thing that I've changed and I keep in mind is like I don't know if you notice I don't really curse in my videos or anything like that or
Mhm.
say anything vulgar or do anything vulgar, and that's because like when I was doing it and I started teaching, I was like, all right, so what if my students see this? Like, what do I want them to see? So that like challenged me to be funny without cursing and like be funny without like doing like typical ratchet stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
um that was good to like see him come up to me and ask me that and like me thinking about, all right, this is the like the moment that I was thinking about. Like he's seen all my stuff and ain't nothing in there for me to be embarrassed about or say you don't need to be watching that. Like yes, please, because it's all appropriate. So he asked me for tips and stuff because he wanted to start making skits, and I was like, this is what it's all about, inspiring. So I'm glad I could inspire him to do that. And I gave him some tips and said, let's do it this weekend, make the video, let me see it on Monday.
Is so, and that was actually going to go into another question that I had: is have you been recognized from one of your videos in real life before?
Yes, man. Yeah, bro, it was crazy. Like, I was walking in Walmart one day, and like, I passed by this cop car, and all I heard was, "Hey!" I turn around, the cop is pointing at me, and I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh, like, do I got the tool on me? Do I forget to take the gun in my pocket? Like, what's going on?" So like, I, I walk up to the car, and I'm like, I don't know what to think. It's a big dude too, like big black guy. It was like, I don't know why big black guy. Like I'm not black. I don't know why I said that. But like it was a big dude, and he was like, "You make TikTok videos?" I was like, "Oh, yes." Yes, man, I had never like been recognized like that before, but I
Oh,
was glad that was the reason he was calling me to the car. 'Cause I didn't know what was going on. Like I didn't know if I was getting profiled by my brother. Like I was like, come on, man. It's like I had like you made TikTok videos. I was
oh,
like, yes, bro. I make
I thought
TikTok.
this was a stop and frisk situation.
Yeah, and he want to take a picture with me and everything. So I was like, man, that felt really cool. That felt
That's
nice.
so dope, yo. Now, actually, now I want to go back to the point about one of your students, and this actually connects to why you started making videos.
Mm,
This is what's so important about representation,
mm,
because back in 2014, you were saying like how you saw Dorm Tainment and other skit groups and stuff, and you were like, I saw them do it, so yeah, I think I could do this. So
right.
then you started doing it, and then one of your students saw you do it, and
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, oh, how do you do that?
yeah,
I can do this as well. So that's
like,
crucial.
exactly.
That is crucial in
Yeah,
all
man.
aspects of life. Man.
Inspire everywhere, bro. Because my main goal, like with being a teacher, is to just be a role model and inspiration. Like the content and all that, cool. But I'm more here to be a role model. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me tell you all I know about life. Let me be an inspiration for y'all. Let me carry myself in a way that inspires y'all. And to like have him come up, and he's been a knucklehead like historically. You know what I mean? Like I had him. I taught fifth grade at first, and I had him in fifth grade, and he was just like a knucklehead. And like now I teach eighth grade, so I have like that class again, and like to see like his growth is crazy because he ain't nothing like he used to be. And so to like see that and then he come up and ask that question, that was a good full circle moment for me.
Now, actually, what was eighth grade Phoenix like?
Oh man. Oh God, that guy.
He doesn't live here anymore.
Man, I was so like I had no self-confidence. I had no self-esteem. Like my grill was messed up. Like it was before braces. Like I was so nervous all the time. Like I had no voice. Like I was just worried about everything all the time. Like I was just this really unconfident person. Like I was always overthinking everything. Like more so than I do now. Like now it's more of a like overthinking it in a way of perfection. Then it was like overthinking stuff in a way of like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. What if this happens? I feel so like and it's just oh man, that was a looking back on it a tough time. It didn't feel like it at the time because it's like, you normalize everything. But yeah, I was just really unconfident, man. So I had no swag. Like it was all bad, bro. It was all bad. God, and I had no personality. Like I was like soaking up personalities around me and stuff like that. So I had a lot of development to do. And I feel like I developed really late. I feel like a lot of people found themselves early. Like a lot of people find themselves in like middle school, high school, but I didn't really start to find myself like really, what I'm saying, like be confident in myself and like my characteristics and like who I am. Like I didn't really find all that till midway through college to be real. Like I don't know what it was. It's like I don't know because I thought I was something and I wasn't that. So holding on to that for so long and then like finally having to face facts and be like, oh God, I don't know who I am. Like starting from base, it was like that kind of thing with me. So yeah, just a really unconfident social sponge. That's who that guy was.
Was there like spark or like an event that triggered you coming out of your cocoon, or like what was that? What was that like?
Hmm. Hmm. Was there an event that triggered me coming out? That's a good question. You made me like recontemplate life.
Future.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really don't know, to be honest. I think just starting to be more curious, honestly, like about life and like what it could be is what sparked me coming out of my shell and really finding myself. Cause like I remember like sophomore, junior year of college when I had to really figure out what I wanted to do. And I think that's probably what it was, like the shock of like, oh, okay, I'm getting close to graduating. What am I gonna do with my life? You know, who am I gonna be in life? So like at that point, or up until that point, like I had been on a scholarship, like I was in college to run track. And that's who I was for the time. Like I was a college athlete. That was my identity. So like when it
Mm.
came time for that to end, it was like, oh God, my identity is coming to an end. Who am I after this? And it was like that's what like kind of like jolted me into reality, I want to say, because my identity up until that point had been a student athlete. Like if you asked me what I wanted to do freshman sophomore year, I don't know, because my degree was, and this is no slugs to anybody, but my degree path was sociology. I didn't know what I was gonna do with that. Like I don't know what to do with a sociology degree now. Like I don't know what to do with a sociology degree. Like so I don't know what I was gonna do with it. My mentor in college sat me down one day and she was like, "Okay, your degree is going to be sociology. What are you gonna do with it?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that." And it's so crazy, like, and I feel like I had really been guided because like I feel like this I like no cap, like this year is the first year where I feel like I'm really taking control of my life and like making choices I want to make and doing things I want to do and setting goals. Up until this point, I feel like I've just been going with the flow. And I feel like this is a result of me really wanting to like know myself deeper and like know what I want to do and know who I am. You know what I mean? So like at that point, I wasn't there. I was kind of going with the flow. So like we're having this conversation, me and my mentor, and then in walks this guy. He's an alpha and he's a professor there. And he's like, "You need to change your major to education." And I was like, bet. So I did it. And you know what I'm saying? Like he's teaching me and me and my bro Jamal, he's out here with me. He actually wrote the film Soulmates that I did or that we did. So um me and him were the only two people in his class because my minor was history and his minor was history, and he was the history professor. So like we had this class at 8 a.m. We was the only two in there. So we used to just sit in there and like he used to tell us stories about life and like after we got done with the lesson and stuff like that, we just like, kicking it, soaking up games. So like that inspired me to like want to be like him. Like the inspiration is crazy. It never stops. So like that inspired me to want to be like him. Like let me get this teaching degree and become like a wise professor and like let me pledge alpha too because this dude cool. You know what I mean? So that's where that came from. And at that point, like I really started, down a path of all right, let me develop the foundation for who I am. So I was like started to try to get better at being like a future teacher. Like I started reading, I don't know if you know the book The Secret. Like that was my first time reading like a book about taking control of your thoughts and stuff like that. So I feel like at that point or those points, those were the turning points of like building the foundation of who Phoenix is gonna be one day. You know what I mean? So like it was
Mm.
late blooming, but it happened.
And you know what's funny? It's not late. Like your
Mm.
journey is your journey. So
Yeah.
everything that happened was right on time.
Yeah, it happens when it's supposed to happen. That's facts.
And what's also hilarious is that I'm getting my PhD in sociology right now.
Really? All right, you tell me
this
what you
is
do with a sociology degree.
this is my last semester, and I didn't have a notion of what I want to do with sociology until like the second semester of my second year
Mm,
on everything. So what you just said, I imagine people in like humanities majors just in general, so sociology, anthropology, psychology, communications, like a lot of us like through college, we don't know what we want to do with it because it's
facts.
very it's like they're broad fields, and
Mhm.
it's all about like human behavior and all humans be behaving everywhere. So it's like we
Yeah,
could do
humans
anything.
be behaving, bro. You said it. Humans be behaving. So what does that mean?
What do we do with the information? Because it's not like because I remember. So I went to University of Maryland, College Park for undergrad, And I remember having friends who were in the business school there, and I remember them talking about like getting internships and going to networking events and like doing business stuff. And then also hearing my engineering friends saying, "Yeah, this is internship that I'm doing for this." Like I had an aerospace engineering. One of my roommates was aerospace engineering, so like doing an aerospace engineering internship, it's very clear, it's very obvious what you're doing.
Mm.
Ain't no sociology internships out here. What? What am I supposed to do with? So, all of that being said, here's one thing to do with it: user experience research. That's another conversation. But I found out that that existed where people with sociology degrees and social science degrees
Mm.
have a place specifically in the tech industry where we understand how humans behave through and with technology.
Mm.
So do with that what you will. Now, there's another thing that you said that jogged another thought. It's going to be jogging for a little minute.
Yeah.
It'll make a lap.
Uh-huh.
It'll make a lap. Uh, now we do have about 10 minutes left, so I just want to respect the time. But
All good.
another question being, what does the future look like for you with content creation?
Mm. Okay. So my goal with the content creation, like itself, like my videos, is just to like keep getting better at whatever it is that's making them what they are. Like I want to keep developing the skill of being able to make a funny video and like just always get better at it. Like my next video needs to be the better than my last video and continue that cycle over and over again and just go. That's my goal with that. My goal as like a content creator is to like have that as my career. Like my goal is to make this my last year working and save up enough money through partnerships and deals to quit my job and focus on content creation. Like that's my big goal. So and I just want to do it just because I can, you know what I mean? Like no other reason other than I can do it, so I want to do it. And I have a friend that stays in LA. His name is Charity Croft. He's my frat brother too. We went to school together, and he's doing it. He's out there living in LA, just living in LA. He's a content creator, and like him, like being that's my inspiration. That's my goal. You know, my friend's my inspiration. We have talks all the time. Like, yeah, it's possible, bro. Just do it. Just keep going. We say all the time that, and Nipsey Hussle said it too. Like the only distinguishing quality between you and anybody else who's doing what you're doing and their goals is that they just don't quit if they make it. That's it. Like you have no like it's almost I don't even want to say almost. It is a fact of life. It should be one of Newton's laws that as long as you continue doing something, you have to be successful. It's inevitable. You cannot avoid success if you just keep going doing what you want to do. So like me knowing that and believing that is my motivation to keep just going and head down hustling until I get to that goal.
That's a bright future.
Yeah.
It's a bright future. Now, the original thought circled back and made its way back. You mentioned the film Soulmate.
Yeah, soulmates.
Well, yeah, talk about that. What was so? Yeah, what was that? What was that?
That is a film that my friend Jamal made. My friend brother lives out here. He's a writer, and he wrote his first film. Before that, it was Redness Relief, and they're independent films. So he was making this one, and like we've been friends for a long time. Like we used to sit in the dorm at high school, in college, and like write essays. You know what I'm saying? Like because we had the same track, so like we just sit down and just pump essays out. So like we know each other's creative process and we know how each other's brains work. So he was like, "Bro, I want you to star in this next project I'm doing, Soulmates." I was like, "Bet." Because I had been waiting, you know what I'm saying, to do something like that. But I only want, it's the same thing like with this interview. Like, I only want to do things that look and feel like they're going to be in line with who I am. You know what I mean? And this is very in line. The questions you were asking are hella in line. Like, your personality isn't like I like that. So, like, that was the same motivation for the film he was doing. The story was in line with like who I am and like the process of like him as a director. He's a really good director. And like, the cast. He really brought the cast together. So, um, yeah, that was the second project, and that was my first time actually acting, like in front of a camera with
Mm,
the cast, memorizing lines, and it was a great time, man. Like we had a premiere and everything. It was amazing. So yeah, that was a great project, and it is. I got it linked in my bio, link in bio, link tree. It's at the bottom. Soulmates. It's fun. It's a fun thing to watch. I feel like it's really relatable too. Like it's hella relatable to our generation type stuff.
dope. And that is a very intriguing thing to go from making videos in solitary where you just you and your phone, your laptop, iPad, just camera, whatever. But then
Yeah,
it's a whole other thing when you have a script,
yeah,
you have somebody else's vision that you're trying to bring to life. You
right.
have
Yes.
castmates, you have like a story that you have to embody in
Mhm,
a way that is like full and there's a character arc. There's so much development that goes into it, and it's
mhm.
not just 30 seconds or a minute.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I was on like those set days are crazy. I remember I was there from like 10 a.m. to like 10 p.m. one day. But it was fun though. It was a good time, so I wasn't tripping on it.
Do you have any questions for me?
Um, what is MDM Network? Like, what's up? What's that all about?
So MDM Network, the MDM stands for multidimensional,
Mm,
and it is taking everything that I've done since Vine days. Like I really started content creation on Vine back in late 2013, early 2014,
mm,
all because of a suggestion from my sister.
yeah.
And she was like, because we used to watch Vine and stuff together all the time.
Mm.
And she was like, you can make videos like that. Like, you're funny. I said, yeah, no, you think I'm funny? All right. Okay, I would do it. And then the rest is history. So fast forward to 2020, and I had never gotten into like full concentration on like YouTube specifically. But I was like, I want this to be, my first foray into it. And the name that I came up with was multidimensional. And it's like multi, then period, and then D, because my name is Darian, and then period, and then mentional. All right.
Mm,
So go through all of that with like long form content and experimenting with like 15-minute, like 10 to 20-minute videos and like video essays and turning that stuff into podcasts and like understanding all the elements of content creation beyond just 6 seconds.
mm.
Take that, get to about late 2021, early 2022. I'm just like, yo, I want this to become something more. So MDM Network is my content creation network that I want to turn into like a whole media conglomerate, if anything, where it's not just videos on TikTok, but I get into like merch. I have a card game that's in my brain that I cannot wait
Uh,
to get out.
Make it happen, man.
And then specifically the networking aspect of connecting with other content creators in a way that adds support, in a way that advocates for trading ideas, because making videos by yourself can be lonely. And
Yeah,
there's so many things that us individually we understand and know how to do that the next content creator has no idea about.
that's
And in
facts.
that, you create a network of just people sharing ideas. And there's a specific thing with like comedy, where with like comedy creators, there's even less, I guess, less like cohesion about
Mm,
how to create comedy on a digital platform.
mm,
And with my niche being like millennial nostalgia and comedy and stuff like that, connecting with other comedic creators and seeing how other people's process works, it's just like, yo, this is what putting the social back in social media. So this whole podcast series, the main thing is now I want to be like the content creator who also interviews a favorite content creator and talks about the stuff that isn't just on screen and
okay.
give other content creators opportunities to talk about stuff that they want, rarely ever want to post about, but
Mm,
are comfortable sharing about. And then it's like representation piece. When someone hears what you're saying about content creation through a podcast, through a video, and they say, "Oh, so that's how that works,"
Mm,
or "Oh, I never thought about it like that." Like I want those moments to come from all of these
right.
interviews. And like I see this 20 to 50 interviews down the line already, and this is
Mm,
interview number 3. And my next one is going to be on Monday with another content creator from TikTok. So my goodness, the way this is shaping up, it sits right
yeah,
with my
man.
soul.
You gotta make it happen, bro. If you build it, they will come. That's facts. That
Yeah,
is
man.
fact. And I really love that you did it because what you said about like having ideas that I don't necessarily want to post about, but I'm comfortable sharing. Like I think about the stuff we talk about all the time, but I don't ever want to just do it too much. Like I do it every now and then. So the fact that you have this platform to do that, like I love that, bro. The time is crazy. It's timely. I love it.
All
You're
right.
doing a great thing, for real. Cause I haven't honestly, to be real with you, like I haven't seen anybody's content about interviewing the content creators about how they make the content. So like I feel like you in a lane all by yourself with this. So that's cool, man. You got like people
Yeah.
want to talk about the stuff and you have the platform to do it. So like you're doing a good thing, bro.